You think you're rational. You think you analyze the facts, weigh the options, and make smart choices. But here's the truth. Your brain is lying to you. Every single day, cognitive biases trick you into bad decisions. And today, I'm going to show you exactly how. This episode is presented to you in the form of an audiobook. This episode is a summary of Rolf Dobelli's book, The Art of Thinking Clearly. Ask yourself this question. In the last week, how many bad decisions have you made? Maybe you spent too much money. Maybe you trusted the wrong person. Maybe you missed an opportunity. And every time, you told yourself, it seemed logical. But here's the problem. It seemed logical at that moment because your brain was deceiving you, because your brain is not a perfect decision-making machine. It's a survival machine. And to survive, it uses shortcuts. We call these shortcuts cognitive biases. And these biases mislead you every day. They lose you money. They damage your relationships. They make you miss opportunities. Today I'm going to explain 10 of these biases to you. Taken from Rolf Dobelli's book, The Art of Thinking Clearly, these are the most common and most dangerous ones. And once you see them, you won't be their victim anymore. Let's begin. Bias number 1. Survivorship bias. You only see the winners. Let me give you an example. You want to enter the music industry, and you look around. There are famous musicians, rich people, successful people, and you tell yourself, they could do it, so can I. But here's the problem. What's behind them? There are thousands of musicians, tens of thousands of people who dreamed the same dream, who made the same effort, but were never heard. You don't see these people because they disappeared into the losses. You only see the winners, and this gives you a false picture. This bias is also very common in the entrepreneurial world. They say, Steve Jobs dropped out of school and succeeded. But there are millions of people who dropped out of school and failed. How do you protect yourself? Don't just look at the successful. Look at the failures too, because the real picture is hidden there. Bias number 2. Confirmation bias. You only see evidence that proves you're right. You have a belief, and you notice everything that supports that belief. But everything that contradicts it, you ignore. Example, let's say you think organic foods are healthier, and you do research on the internet. What do you find? Articles explaining the benefits of organic foods, because you're looking for them. But research saying that organic foods don't actually make much difference, you ignore. This bias is also very dangerous in relationships. You suspect your partner is cheating on you, and you interpret every behavior to confirm this suspicion. Did they come home late? Evidence of cheating. Did they look at their phone? Evidence of cheating. Were they distant? Evidence of cheating. But the truth is, you're only seeing what you want to see. How do you protect yourself? Ask yourself, could I be wrong? And actively search for evidence against your own opinion. Bias number 3. Sunk Cost Fallacy. You continue because of what you invested in the past. You're in a relationship, you're not happy, but 5 years have passed, and you tell yourself, I can't waste 5 years. Or you started a project, you spent a lot of money, you spent a lot of time, but it's not working, but you can't quit because you say, I invested so much. This is the sunk cost fallacy. What you spent in the past should not affect your future decision because the past doesn't come back. It's lost. The only important question is this. From this moment on, does it make sense to continue? Gamblers are the biggest victims of this bias. They're losing, but to win back their losses, they play more and they lose more. How do you protect yourself? Forget the past. Just ask this. If I were starting fresh today, would I make the same decision? Bias number 4. Availability bias. You think the first thing that comes to mind is correct. You hear about a plane crash, on the news, on social media, everywhere, and you tell yourself, planes are dangerous, and you decide to travel by car. But here's the truth, planes are much safer than cars, statistically. But car accidents don't make the news, because they're so common. A plane crash is rare. That's why it makes the news, and it sticks in your mind. This bias shapes your fears. You're afraid of terrorist attacks, but not heart disease. Yet heart disease kills thousands of times more people, but terrorist attacks get more media coverage. That's why they seem more dangerous. How do you protect yourself? Trust statistics, not your emotions. Look at real data. What first comes to mind is not always correct. Bias, number 5. Social proof. You do it because everyone else is doing it. You're eating at a restaurant. The waiter offers you 2 options. One is popular, the other isn't. Which one do you choose? The popular one. Because you think if everyone chooses it, it must be good. But here's the problem. What everyone does is not always right. Many disasters in history happen because of social proof. Everyone is investing in a stock, so you do too. Then the bubble bursts. Everyone loses. Or everyone is buying a product, so you buy it too. But in reality, that product doesn't work. Social proof is especially powerful in uncertain situations. You don't know what to do, so you look at others. And this can lead you in the wrong direction. How do you protect yourself? Ask yourself, if no one was doing it, would I still do it? If the answer is no, maybe you shouldn't. Bias, number 6. Authority bias. You believe without question because an authority said it. A doctor tells you something. A professor proposes a theory. A CEO recommends a strategy. And you believe without question because they are authorities. But here's the problem. Authorities can be wrong too. Many big mistakes in history were the ideas of authorities. Didn't scientists say the earth was flat? Didn't doctors say cigarettes were harmless? Authority doesn't mean knowledge. Authority just means a title. And a title doesn't always mean telling the truth. This bias is especially used in the advertising world, like 8 out of 9 dentists recommend. Because you believe it because a doctor said it. How do you protect yourself? Whatever the authority says, do your own research. Examine the evidence. Because the truth is not in authority, it's hidden in data. Bias, number 7. Anchoring effect. The first number you see anchors you. You walk into a store. A jacket costs $10,000, then you see a 50% discount. Now it's $5,000. And you think, wow, what a great deal. But here's the problem. That jacket's real value is maybe $3,000. But the first number you saw was $10,000. And that number anchored your mind. Now $5,000 seems cheap to you because you're comparing it to $10,000. This bias is widely used in negotiations. The seller tells you a high price, you say a low price, then you meet in the middle, but the seller's initial price determined your anchor. Same in salary negotiations. Whoever says the first number has the advantage, because that number determines the negotiation range. How do you protect yourself? Ignore the first number, do your own research, learn the real value, and make a decision based on that value. Bias. Number 8. Hindsight bias. You say, I knew it all along. An election happens, a candidate wins, and you tell yourself, I knew they would win. A company fails, and you say, it was obvious they would fail. But the truth is, you didn't know. It's easy to look back after the result is clear. This bias causes you to overestimate your own ability. You think, I can predict everything, but actually, you're just looking back and rationalizing. And this causes you to make the same mistake in the future, because you don't learn from your own mistakes. Saying, I knew it all along is the most dangerous sentence that prevents learning. How do you protect yourself? Before making a decision, write down your predictions. Then, when it happens, look at what you wrote. Did you really know? Or do you just feel that way now? Bias, number 9. Dunning-Kruger effect. Your knowledge is low, your confidence is high, you know nothing about a subject. And precisely because of that, you speak very confidently. Because ignorance gives you confidence. The more you know, the more you realize what you don't know. But if you know little, you think you know everything. You see this bias every day on social media. People talk like experts about complex topics after reading a few articles. They say economics is very simple. They say politics is very clear. They say science is wrong. But real experts are always skeptical because they know how complex the subject is. How do you protect yourself? Ask yourself, am I really an expert on this subject? If the answer is no, be a little more humble. because ignorance should never be a reason for confidence. Bias. Number 10. Halo effect. One trait affects the entire personality. You see someone, very handsome or very beautiful, and automatically you think that person is smart, kind, and trustworthy. Why? Because beauty creates a halo, and that halo illuminates other traits too. This bias is very dangerous in the business world. A CEO is charismatic, speaks well, confident, and you think they're a good leader, but maybe they're just a good speaker, or a product has beautiful packaging, and you think that product is quality, but maybe it's just good design. The halo effect starts with first impressions, and once you create a halo, it's very hard to break it. How do you protect yourself? Evaluate traits separately. Just because someone is handsome doesn't mean they're smart. Just because something is beautiful doesn't mean it's quality. That's it. 10 cognitive biases, 10 traps, 10 lies that your brain tells you every day. And now you know them, but knowing isn't enough because these biases are very powerful and you can't always be alert, so remind yourself, before making an important decision, stop and ask, which bias might I be falling into? Am I only seeing the winners? Am I trying to confirm my own opinion? Am I continuing because of past investments? These questions protect you, because awareness is the most powerful weapon. As Rolf Dobelli says in The Art of Thinking Clearly, thinking is not easy, but thinking clearly is even harder. And to think clearly, you must know your own biases. Did what I shared in this video resonate with you? Which bias do you fall into the most? Leave a comment. Because sometimes, seeing your own traps is the beginning of freedom. Until the next video, take care of yourself. And remember, true intelligence is not knowing, it's knowing you can be wrong.